On November 29th of 2013, Dr. Butch Guthrie, a 67-year-old dentist, walked into the emergency room at Centerra, Virginia Beach General Hospital.
I was having intense gastric distress and discomfort.
The pain had started a month earlier, remnants of a cold he picked up that fall. By Thanksgiving, it had become unbearable. His wife, Sandi, was concerned.
He couldn't do anything. He was lying on the floor most of the time.
The attending physician kept him overnight to run tests. Butch assured Sandi he would be okay.
I told her to go home and take care of the dogs. I'd see her Saturday morning.
But something went wrong.
When I walked in the room was full of people, and I heard hearts failing, kidneys failing, livers failing. We're taking him to ICU.
Butch was in cardiac arrest and had to be flown to Centerra Heart Hospital in Norfolk, Virginia, just 20 miles away.
I was asking for God to intervene in the situation that, was not ready to lose a husband.
En route, he flatlined twice and had to be resuscitated. Dr. Catherine Lights led the team of heart specialists who were waiting for him.
His heart stopped pumping. His brain, his kidney, his liver, everything was failing. He was dying. That very moment, he was dying.
They put Butch on ECMO, a life support system used only as a last resort. Prolonged use could have severe complications, but without it, he would die.
In his case, we waited 7 days, and at 7 days, he still was not recovering. More importantly, of his brain and kidney, those were not recovering.
The doctors presumed Butch had a viral infection and gave him a 5% chance of survival, and recommended that Sandi have her husband taken off life support.
One doctor leaned forward and he said, "Are you understanding everything we are saying?" And I said, "Yes, I understand everything you've said. However, I believe in miracles."
That's because 8 years earlier, Sandi was diagnosed with stage 4 uterine cancer. But through prayer and God's grace, she was healed.
And I told her that I was expecting God to perform another miracle for my husband. They probably thought I was in denial or I was a religious fanatic. But there comes a point in time when you have to decide whose opinion is more important, God's or man's.
Using every means possible, Sandi asked her church, family, and friends around the world for prayer. For the next 2 weeks, she stayed by her husband's side praying and reading the Bible to him.
I believed that he could hear. I believed his spirit could hear.
It turns out she was right. In fact, Butch heard the doctor's discussion about taking him off life support.
I became somewhat anxious, and I started praying. And I was praying that God would raise up a person on the medical staff that would have my back. And I prayed, and then all of a sudden I received a vision. I saw nothing but sand. And then I saw a cross, and it came down and it stuck in the sand.
Then a group of doctors appeared. One of them started backing away from the rest until his back was touching the cross.
Wow. I said, whoever that is, they've got my back, but God has got their back.
That person was cardiac surgeon Gabor Bagameri, who, like Sandi, wasn't ready to give up.
Yes, I was supporting her, that I want to make sure that she understands that the situation was very grim.
I can look at reality, but I choose to look at supernaturality.
With Butch's time on life support at a critical stage, Dr. Bagameri suggested a procedure that was rarely attempted.
It's just basically making an artificial hole between the left and the right side of the heart.
He performed the surgery and it appeared to be successful. But the only way to know for sure was to take Butch off of life support.
It can go either way, but he cannot be maintained on ECMO any longer. There's too many risks involved. There were no other options other than to give him a chance to fly on his own.
It took only minutes to find out.
It was incredible. He made it. And the one greatest believer in him was his wife.
I believe that God can do anything. Nothing is impossible for him.
While in recovery, Butch remembers what he told Dr. Bagamary.
And I said, I know all about you. I said, I prayed that God would raise up somebody on the staff who would have my back, and he chose you, and he used you in a mighty way.
Dr. Bagamary would agree.
I truly believe that God works mysteriously.
Butch and Sandy celebrated Christmas that year in the hospital. Then, only 3 months later, Butch was back at his dental practice and is still going strong. As for the staff at Sentara Heart Hospital, they still call Butch the Christmas miracle.
Because it was truly a little bit of miracle. At age 67, his heart completely recovered and his kidney recovered. And now he's living with his own heart and doesn't need transplant.
I am overwhelmed by the love of God and the grace that he has shown me. Completely overwhelmed.